So get this, upper respiratory infections are definitely what's going around right now in both children and adults.
He knows it, yeah. That has many parents asking their pediatrician for a prescription for antibiotics. I know a lot of moms and dads say, okay, we're going to get this prescription, it's going to solve the issue, but
Right.
Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us and says, that's not always the right choice.
No, Karen, it's not. And oftentimes it's a difficult decision to make. Most fevers and upper respiratory problems in the winter, they're from viruses. But even viral infections, they can progress to a bacterial infection. So it's kind of a Goldilocks situation. There's a little bit of a sweet spot. Not too early and not too late. There aren't really any perfect rules here. It's usually very much a judgment call that's made by talking to the parent, examining the child, and then kind of taking the whole picture into account. Honestly, if it's something like an ear infection, even though viruses can be to blame, we do usually use antibiotics. Sore throats, they're often specifically tested for strep, and that is treated with antibiotics. But incidentally, how high a fever goes, that's often not a good indicator of whether it's a virus or a bacteria, because both can produce very impressive fevers in kids. Now, sometimes the length of time that an infection has lingered, that might tip the scale. For example, more than 10 days in the right setting, often we're going to turn to antibiotics. But the bottom line is, it really is kind of a judgment call.
Yeah, well, Doc, what's the harm in giving antibiotics when they won't be helpful?
Well, so that's kind of the risk part of the risk-benefit decision that we make. There are side effects to every medication, so we don't want to expose someone to the risk of an allergy, a rash, or even diarrhea if it's something like that, if it's not necessary. But really, the most important argument here, and it's hard to weigh, I have to say, when you are looking at a sick child, is the public health risk. Antibiotic overuse is the most important driver of antibiotic resistance, which of course threatens everyone. So we have to be responsible. But when you have a sick child in front of you, that is a very difficult call to make.
Yeah, especially when parents feel so vulnerable in those situations.
Exactly. And parents want the antibiotic.
Yeah. Doc, thanks for that perspective.